Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, February 8, 2018. I am Rochelle Baptiste with the details. At 25.5%, SVG can boast of having the best marijuana plant around. The revelation was made by Frederick Nesbitt, a lead consultant who have tested various samples of marijuana from across SVG today. The first scientific testing is all part of the government's plan to establish a medical marijuana industry here in SVG. Speaking prior to the testing was Minister of Finance Camilo Gonzalez, who said the testing allows SVG to learn about the local marijuana plant and to create an industry based on science.
Because they've done their testing and they know that they have this seed and this market for this product and so on. But what we want to do, in part and parcel of Minister Caesar's insistence that the local community and local farmers and local product be part of this medicinal cannabis industry, is that we want to be able to say definitively what we already have on the ground and then doctors and scientists will be able to tell us what we have and what it is good for. This one may have a particular use for epilepsy, or it may have a particular use for pain relief, or appetite, opening up your appetite, or what have you, nausea. We won't know until we test it. And that's why we're here today, to indicate, A, that we're serious about an industry based on science, and B, that we're very much interested in local producers, local farmers, local production.
Minister of Agriculture Saboto Caesar made it clear that the local farmers are the ones who will be directly involved in the medical marijuana industry to be established here, adding that it will create benefits for all.
And I want to put a stop to this notion that local persons will be left behind. It is never the intention, and it is not going to happen. No one is going to exclude anyone from the possibilities and the opportunities. However, what is going to happen is that at the end of the day, each person must make a calculation about the investment and the risks that they are willing to take. And what I envisage, what I see that can take place, that we can see persons forming cooperatives and companies so that they can pool factors of production. Somebody from Chauncey, a nurse from Chauncey, may have a parcel of land. Another nurse may have a large family with a chemist inside of it, willing to do the extractions. And I want us to look at this, the future and the potential of this industry with great optimism. Thank you so very much.
Lead consultant Frederick Nesbitt announced the findings of the marijuana testing to much celebrations and highlighted the significance of the findings.
But just the fact that we have one at 25+%, it really, if you look at it as a commodity for healing, you really can start to understand what those percentages really mean to you. And for the community, you know, each one of those is a milligram of what? Of THC, a milligram of CBD. Each one of those combined will be able to help you immensely, okay? And there's nothing at 25%. So, if that doesn't excite you,
we have some Jamaican in the house.
Yes, ma'am. I'm not trying to cause a cannabis island war over here.
And despite calls in some quarters here to legalize marijuana in its entirety, Minister of Finance Camilo Gonzalez says his government is not currently prepared to take such step. In his presentation of the 2018 budget, the newly appointed finance minister pointed out that the government is instead considering to take advantage of an opportunity to leverage its homegrown experience and expertise in cannabis cultivation into a full-fledged medical cannabis industry.
We intend to continue wide and thorough consultations with the Vincentian public to canvass their views on the desirability of a well-regulated, clearly defined, export-oriented medical cannabis industry in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Such an industry, if supported by the public and approved by the Parliament, would position our country to take advantage of the economic opportunities presented by the rapidly expanding international market for medicinal cannabis products. Unregulated consumption of recreational marijuana poses a number of risks and challenges that we do not currently have the data on which to make informed decisions or the capacity to manage effectively. Further, our regular scientific polling on this issue shows a deep divergence of views on the issue of recreational marijuana in our society. We cannot responsibly ignore the deeply held beliefs of such a large section of the Vincentian public.
Minister Gonzalez noted that SVG has a competitive advantage in the illicit trade of marijuana, which does not automatically transfer to legal production of medical marijuana.
First acknowledge that despite anecdotal claims of the superiority of locally cultivated cannabis, there is no empirical evidence to support these assertions. Much of the growth in the illicit trade in Vincentian marijuana is based not so much on its quality, but on our location, terrain, and a multiplicity of small cultivators. Stripped of its illegality, cannabis becomes just another crop, like a dasheen or a banana. We must contemplate an industry that focuses not merely on the export of a raw cash crop, but rather on value-added extracts and pharmaceutical products.
The finance minister further pointed out that it would be an irresponsible act to give official sanction to flooding regional markets with a product that remains illegal in those markets.
We must recognize that Vincentian cultivators currently produce the majority of their recreational marijuana for export to neighboring countries in which the recreational consumption of marijuana remains illegal. The production and export of cannabis products must be linked to markets that license and accept them. We are not a bad neighbor. There will be ample space for local cultivators and entrepreneurs in the medicinal cannabis industry.
In other news, opposition leader Dr. Godwin Friday is not in agreement with Queen's Counsel Panel Campbell, who is of the view that the government side in Parliament on January 29th was in a position to amend the opposition's no-confidence motion. At a media conference on Wednesday, the president of the New Democratic Party said that while he respects Campbell as a veteran in the legal field, his analysis of what transpired in Parliament is incorrect.
Pierre Campbell is an eminent lawyer, very respected person. But I must say, I mean, as a legal scholar, if you will, as a lawyer in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and I respect him very much for that. But I disagree if he's saying that the judge, not the judge, but the speaker, ruled properly in the House. If that's the implication of his criticism of the speaker's mea culpa or about face, then I disagree with that, because our position is that you cannot use the rules of the House. I mean, just think about it. How can you possibly ask the opposition or any members who brought a motion of no confidence that threatens the government to debate a motion that says that we have full confidence in the government? I mean, that's like, you know, it's not just insulting to me, it's insulting to all the people. It's who sent us there. And so if Mr. Campbell, you're suggesting that he supports the position that the government had the right to do so and the speaker made no error, then I disagree with that.
Dr. Friday is of the view that freedom is stifled if they are unable to debate their motion, and that he will choose to fight for democracy over getting a salary for his absence in Parliament.
I cannot in good conscience do that. I simply cannot do it. And I don't care if the members of the government are upset about it. I heard some of them saying they're going to dock out pay. I will give up my entire salary if it means defending the Constitution of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That is trivial, as Daniel would say. The main point is that we must recognize that there are rights and obligations that we as a democracy must uphold. Whenever these rights are being trampled upon, it doesn't matter how powerful the person, how persuasive they are, how bellicose they are. People must stand up, and if we, as the legislators who know the significance of it, if we don't give leadership in it, most of the people will just say, well, you know, let the budget go, it's fun. I like the debate last Wednesday, let we have some fun in the House. It's more than that, much, much more serious than that.
General Secretary of the ruling Unity Labour Party government, Senator Julian Francis, has once again called out members of the opposition New Democratic Party for what he said are their attempts to gain popularity from salacious activities. Francis, who is speaking on the ULP Speaks program on Tuesday night on Star FM, voiced his disappointment in the action of the opposition members of parliament, considering their behavior to be silly and laced with politics. Speaking on the issue of their no confidence motion brought against the government, Francis said there have been 5 votes of no confidence that the ULP has won with the majority.
This is what we work by, and that's what we live by. So the 2018 now vote of no confidence, debated or not debated, they couldn't win it in the parliament. Because when it comes down to the vote, they will lose it. Expect that the majority of persons in St. Vincent will support that. Well, the majority of persons have been showing them election after election, event after event, scandal after scandal, that they support the Unity Labour Party, and they will continue to support the Unity Labour Party. They have tried on numerous occasions to win government, and they can't. You can't win government by the poor, so you're trying all kind of thing.
Francis said Vincentians are seeing right through the tactics of the NDP.
The salacious story about Ralph Gonsalves again, as usual. They figured, they're going to win the election because of this. Same thing with Yogi Farrell now. They have adopted this as a political measure. This is a platform that they can use. And they're having rallies now. The rally up in Heritage Square was originally for Yogi Farrell. Asked for the meeting inside of the Market Square at Bedford Street. This is before estimates came about. This had nothing to do with the estimates. This had nothing to do with what transpired inside it. This had to do with the Yogi Farrell affair. That is the basis on which they were carrying their rally tonight. They get 450 people.
Francis further noted that the ULP's focus is on working in the interests of the people and ensuring a smooth transition within the leadership of the party.
To try and blow their trumpet, they say they're going for radio. Well, they can go to radio and present what they want to present on radio. They had a chance to come to the House to deal with the people's business. They didn't. And they got their tail swamped, legally and politically. There are still some matters to be settled on it with regards to rulings in the House of Parliament and the interpretation of the Constitution. And I'm sure that we have not heard the end of this matter. And the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and particularly the supporters of the Unity Labour Party, who are in the vast majority, continue to support this, and they were very pleased with the presentation of the new.
Final preparations are set to be taking place for the opening of the modern medical complex in Georgetown. That's according to a statement issued today by the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment. This complex was built and equipped at a reported cost of about $22 million and would, according to the ministry, be a significant addition to the healthcare service provided in the country. The ministry said the project was financed by the INS, which contributed roughly $11 million, and the central government. The Republic of Cuba donated human and technical resources for the construction phase of the project and also made material donations of medical equipment. Cuba is also expected to provide a number of healthcare specialists and other personnel to work alongside local professionals to start up operations at the medical complex. The Republic of China on Taiwan has also given support to the complex. The ministry said so far it has donated $1.5 million worth of medical equipment. The complex is expected to be the first public facility here in SVG to do hemodialysis, which will be of benefit to kidney patients. The ministry said in 2015 and 2016, a total of 53 persons here died as a result of kidney disease. The functioning of the modern medical complex, according to the ministry, will be integrated with the functioning of the nearby Smart Hospital in Georgetown. Director of Airports Cosell Robertson is calling on drone operators here to get regularized. In an interview with SVG-TV News earlier today, Robertson highlighted the need for operators to have a drone permit, as there are regulations in place for them to follow.
For operators of drones to become regularized, to comply with the requirements of the system and to register their drones, apply for a drone permit, because we want to have a level of control of drone operations so that there are no accidents and nothing that we regret later. And the best way to do that is for everybody to comply so that people can understand the safety requirements and conform to them and reduce the risk of accident or incident relating to drone operation. Okay. We have a system in place already. Anybody who wishes to do that may contact our telephone number 458-4011 and they'll be told how they can apply.
Robinson highlighted what persons can expect when applying for a permit, noting that drones will be seized at the port if the relevant documents are not presented.
Usually, we have a standardized application form that captures the information we need to have in relation to the drone operations. Once you get in touch with us or we become aware of you, we would send you the application form. And that form you put in the technical information on the drone, the type, the operational capabilities, etc. And then we would analyze that. And once you meet all the requirements in that, we'd also need your name, etc. And there is a little, some information we would then need to communicate to you as to what we expect from you and what you can expect from us. And then a permit can be issued. If you're an importer now and you bring in a drone and you do not have a permit, it will be held at the customs. Okay. So we are in the process of sending forms to the customs. We have already done so for the Grenadines, but we were really busy dealing with some other matters. And so we are now in the process of getting forms to the customs locally, so that anybody who comes in with a drone and it's held up, then they can get the form immediately and start the process of getting that permit in order to operate it locally.
The Director of Airports makes it clear that the department is not trying to prevent persons from operating drones here. However, one must follow rules and regulations, adding that the department will be conducting training for operators.
Yes, we plan to have a training session so that you can understand the issues relating to aviation and security and drone operations. The idea is not to stop people from being able to use drones, but for them to get the information they need to make better decisions and safe decisions in relation to the use of drones.
With next Wednesday, February 14, 2018, marking the first year since operations began at the Argyle International Airport, the ruling Unity Labour Party administration has signaled plans to host a celebration rally for the country's largest capital project. Speaking on the radio earlier this week, General Secretary of the ULP, Julian Francis, said although the one-year anniversary will be celebrated on the 14th of February, Valentine's Day, because that day is also observed as Ash Wednesday, the celebratory rally will instead be held on Saturday, February 17th.
This is a government AIA event. It is not going to be a Unity Labour Party event. Persons who are officials who work at the AIA, who I'm sure will speak on the first year. We have not put together that yet, but that will, I have no doubt, will be the form of the platform. But we will do it in our usual style, with the flavors being put in as usual. The details you will hear about very shortly. I'm not going to give those to you tonight. I'm just telling you to tick that off on your calendar. Saturday, the 17th of February at Argyle. Not going to be held within the fence of the airport. It will be held outside of the fence of the airport. We do not want to disturb the operations of the Argyle International Airport, which is up and running with international flights. So we are going to have it on the opposite side of where we had it this year, last year, and it is going to be in the Johnson Hill area.